Welcome back to Explain the Charts. Today, September 12th, 2025, we're taking an in-depth look at Apple, ticker symbol Apple, a stock that's been making headlines and showing some interesting moves on the charts recently. Let's kick things off with the latest news, which is heavily dominated by Apple's highly anticipated iPhone 17 launch event on September 9th. Reports indicate that Wall Street was largely underwhelmed by the surprise-free event, leading to an immediate dip in the stock. Specifically, after trading around $237.31 3 days ago, Apple saw a notable decline, dropping over 3% in the days following the event. This indicates cautious investor sentiment and concerns about weak demand for the new iPhone 17 series. Despite this recent pullback, it's important to remember Apple's strong Q3 fiscal 2025 results, reported on July 31st. The company saw a 13% year-over-year increase in iPhone revenue, attributed to the iPhone 16's popularity, and achieved record business performance with 12% EPS growth. Apple also continues to benefit from Google's substantial $20 billion annual payment to retain Safari as the default search engine, providing a stable revenue stream. These long-term fundamentals suggest a resilient underlying business, even with short-term product launch jitters. Bank of America analysts, for instance, reiterated a buy rating with a price target of $270, based on an anticipated strong iPhone upgrade cycle through fiscal years 2025 and 2026. They also cited higher services revenue growth and improved margins from internally developed silicon as key drivers. This longer-term outlook suggests that current dips might be seen as buying opportunities by some institutional investors. However, delays with the iPhone Air in China and eSIM challenges are additional headwinds to monitor closely. Now, let's turn our attention to the charts to see how these events have played out. Looking at the daily chart for Apple, we can observe a significant rally throughout much of 2024, pushing the stock from lows around $170 to a 52-week high of $260.10 by late December 2024. This established a strong bullish trend and key resistance at that $260 mark. Following the peak, we saw a notable correction in early 2025, with a sharp drop in April 2025, reaching a 52-week low of $169.21 on April 8, 2025. This level served as a critical support, leading to a significant rebound back above $200 within a few weeks. This V-shaped recovery demonstrates strong underlying demand at lower price levels. We can see here how quickly the market can react to both positive and negative sentiment, and how previous lows can become strong support. Since May 2025, Apple has generally been in an upward channel, though with noticeable volatility, consolidating around the $220 to $230 range. The stock built up momentum, pushing towards $240 in early September 2025. However, the iPhone 17 event on September 9th clearly acted as a bearish catalyst. The daily candle on September 9th showed a close at $234.35, down from the open of $237, confirming the initial negative reaction. The subsequent day, September 10th, saw a further sharp decline, closing at $226.79, indicating strong selling pressure post-event. Today, September 12th, 2025, we're seeing some attempts at stabilization, with the current price around $234.12. This level is testing the previous support zone established in late August. Immediate short-term resistance stands at the pre-event levels of $238 to $240, which coincides with highs seen earlier this month. On the flip side, critical short-term support lies around $226 to $227, the low from September 10th. A break below this could see the stock retesting the stronger support zone of $220 to $222, a level seen multiple times over the past few months. Shifting to the 1-hour chart, we can gain a more granular perspective on the recent price action following the iPhone 17 news. From August 26 to September 2, the stock was trading sideways, largely between $225 and $230. We then saw a strong push upwards into early September, reaching around $238.49 by September 3rd, building anticipation for the event. The hourly candles confirmed the sharp drop on September 9th, where price moved from roughly $237 down to $234.35 within hours. This continued into September 10th, with significant red candles pushing the price further down to the $226.79 area. The high volume on these down moves suggests strong institutional selling, likely in reaction to the underwhelming launch reception. This swift decline broke through previous minor support levels, establishing new resistance around $234 and $237. However, the one-hour chart also shows a bounce back on September 11th, with Apple closing around $230.03. This indicates that some buying interest returned after the initial panic selling, potentially driven by the analyst's positive long-term outlook or bargain hunting. The current price of $234.12 suggests this upward momentum has continued into the current trading day. For very short-term traders, the 15-minute chart provides even finer detail on today's action, September 12, 2025. After closing at $230.03 yesterday, the stock has shown upward movement in pre-market and early trading, now sitting around $234.12. This move indicates a recovery above yesterday's close, suggesting a more positive sentiment entering the current session. Watch closely for sustained buying volume on these shorter timeframes to confirm a potential reversal from the post-event dip. Immediate resistance on this timeframe is around $234.50, with support at $233.50. To summarize, several key price levels are crucial for Apple. On the downside, the immediate support is at $226 to $227, followed by a stronger zone at $220 to $222. A critical long-term support remains at the $195 to $200 range, and ultimately the 52-week low of $169.21. For upward movement, initial resistance will be encountered at $238 to $240, which was the pre-event level, and then stronger resistance at $242 to $245. Breaking above the $260.10 all-time high would signal a new leg up. Looking ahead, a bullish scenario, 60% likelihood in the short term, would see Apple consolidate around the current $234 level and then retest the $238 to $240 resistance. This is reinforced if initial iPhone 17 sales figures prove better than expected, or if broader market sentiment, fueled by rate cut hopes, remains positive. A successful break above $240 could open the path towards the analyst target of $270 in the medium term. Especially with continued services growth and new product developments like the blood pressure tool gaining traction, 45% likelihood for $270 by late 2025/early 2026. Conversely, a bearish outlook, 30% likelihood short-term, would materialize if Apple fails to hold the $226 to $227 support. Persistent negative sentiment around iPhone 17 demand, or worsening news regarding iPhone Air sales in China, could drive the stock down to the $220 to $222 level. A more severe downturn, 20% likelihood long-term, could see a retest of the $195 to $200 support if broader economic weakness or unexpected competitive pressures emerge. Traders should closely monitor official iPhone 17 sales data, any updates on the China market, and overall consumer spending trends. Pay attention to the relative strength of volume on upward versus downward movements. High buying volume during rallies and low selling volume during dips would reinforce a bullish bias. Conversely, high selling volume on drops would confirm bearish momentum. Understanding these correlations between news, analyst sentiment, and the pure price action on the charts is key to making informed trading decisions for Apple. That's our in-depth analysis for Apple today. Remember to stay disciplined and always conduct your own research. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more insights from Explain the Charts. Happy trading, and we'll see you in the next one.